Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream on the Just Baseball Network, powered by the Pikkit Sports app. Remember, use code Peter to sync your sportsbook on Pikkit. You want to see where all the betting splits are, which is a good way to look at where the money is, obviously, as you guys know, has been betting on baseball and all other sports. But it's interesting today because I'm testing something new. I have 3 underdogs. So it's important to see where the money is. So make sure to go download the Pikkit Sports app. You can find it in our bio, or you can find it on my Twitter as well. But make sure when you download it to sync your sportsbook, use code Peter. You get entered into a raffle. It's anywhere from $3 to $100. So on this stream today, we're going to be doing a community prize picks entry, so be on the lookout. We're going to decide as a community, so stay tuned to the end, as well as putting all of our plays in on BetMGM. Use code JBFans, wager $10 on any MLB moneyline, and receive $100 once the bet is settled. Millsap just subscribed with Prime at a baby. Shout out you. Shout out Millsap. Good thing about subscribing, you get entered into the giveaway at the end of the season where we're giving away World Series tickets. If I win, right? If I win, a subscriber of this Twitch stream is getting those World Series tickets. If I finish second, $500 cash prize. As you can see on our leaderboard tracked on Pikkit, I agree. Respect the promo, but Pikkit isn't an accurate representation of where the money is. It's just Pikkit users, absolutely. But when you look at it, there are handles of over $1 million because a lot of people do use Pikkit. And sometimes Pikkit users aren't the sharpest. So you want to see, like, for example, today, 80% of Pikkit users were on the Chicago Cubs. The Reds are up 7-0. So, right, you want to use Pikkit. You want to use all these to your advantage, right? You look at Pikkit, you look at VSiN, you look at all these, but it's good to have them all done, right? So that's on the Pikkit Sports app where all these bets are tracked in case you ever miss anything. Let's do a quick recap of yesterday before we get into today's plays. Not ideal, right? This was such a tough one because I don't know what to expect anything from the Chicago White Sox anymore. But remember yesterday I talked about the fact that the White Sox have their 4 best relievers available, whether that be Kendall Graveman or Joe Kelly or Kenyon Middleton or Gregory Santos, all right-handers. The White Sox decided, let's use only our left-handed relievers against a team whose clear better split is against lefties. Lucas Giolito had 7 walks, and we were still in it till the end, until that last base hit. Excuse me. Ultimately ended it. We lost on the hook. Good thing is that wasn't tracked on stream, of course, was the race through the first 5. So we ended the day off stream, only down 0.2 units. But of course, on stream, it's tracked. That was my only play on stream. Unfortunately lost. Ended on 9 runs instead of the 8.5. We take the L and we move on, right? And today I want to preface it with something. So I'm on a lot of underdogs today, right? You guys might have seen the picks already, but if you're just coming in, welcome. I'll go over in a second. But I'm kind of testing something out for myself, right? Because we built a little bit of this nest egg, right? We're up almost 12 units on the season so far. It's still very early. So I want to see how I'm reading lines right now. It's kind of a test for me. So that's why it's only 0.5 units, 0.7 units. I'm trying something new. It could backfire on me, absolutely. These are not locks. They're all underdogs, but I'll be on them today, and I'm still confident in them because at least 2 of them really have baseball reasoning. The other one, kind of a shot in the dark based on a system. So we're going to go through all of it. Shout out to Hunter Green today. Just nuked the Yankees. It might be the play today, but we're going to talk. All right, let's get into the first underdog of the day. And remember, while you're listening, make sure if you haven't downloaded Prize Picks yet to go get Prize Picks and use code JustBaseball because we're going to do a community entry at the end. So we're starting with the Cardinals money line at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Matthew Liberatore versus Shane Bieber. This Guardians offense is straight up embarrassing. They cannot string together anything offensively, and they're now home favorites with Shane Bieber on the mound. The way I capped this game when the lines first came out is I was like, the Guardians should be minus 110. So again, this is more of a value play rather than me being very confident in a winner. This is what I think the line should be. It's not showing. Let's see if I'm right on. So Shane Bieber doesn't really have a good matchup today and is just due for general regression. By far, Bieber is allowing the hardest contact of his career, rocking a 50.5% hard hit rate compared to the 43% mark over the past few seasons. His strikeout rate is also nowhere near where it's been, sitting at 17.8% compared to 25% the previous season. All of this has cultivated into a 4.92 expected ERA compared to his 3.08 ERA. His form-seam fastball and cutter have allowed much of the damage, while his slider is what's gotten him out of trouble. But he also hasn't faced that difficult of a schedule. This will be his toughest matchup to date. I'm going to run you through who he's faced so far this season. He's faced the A's, the Nationals, the Marlins, the Yankees, the Tigers, the Red Sox, the Mets, and the White Sox. None of those are as good as the Cardinals' offense. The Cardinals ranked number 1 in WRC Plus against right-handed pitching in May, and they also rank first in hard hit rate and ISO, which is isolated power, which can get Bieber into massive trouble here. But the stuff isn't producing strikeouts, right? And the contact is going to be hard. It's just a bad recipe against the St. Louis Cardinals team. And if we shorten it to just the last 2 weeks, the Cardinals' WRC Plus, which was number 1 in baseball, has actually increased to 129. But the reason you don't see this being a full unit is Matthew Liberatore is kind of a wild card. I really like the improvement on his stuff. His fastball and sinker velocity are up to 95 miles an hour when they were just 92 to 93 a year ago. Curveball, plenty of depth, good slider. I'm just not totally bought in yet because he is such a young player. But what, of course, is working for him, though, is that the Guardians are dreadful against left-handed pitching in particular, ranking 28th in WRC Plus in May and 28th over the entire season against left-handed pitching. But the Cardinals own the clear offensive advantage, but the Guardians do have the more reliable starter, and they have home field advantage, and overall their bullpen is better. But it's not by much because the Cardinals should have their quality arms available, whether that be Ryan Helsley, Drew Verhagen, Jordan Hicks, and Andre Palante should all be ready to go. So, again, this is why I recommend downloading Pikkit, because it's funny. When I put out the play, I see a lot of people copying my bets because, of course, they're all tracked on Pikkit. But on VSiN, on a lot of other sites, you're going to see the splits be a couple more bets on the Guardians, a little bit more money. It's really split right now, kind of like a 50-50. When I first went into it, it wasn't. But the thing is, when I first made the bet, the Cardinals were at plus 105, and there was much more tickets on the Guardians, more money on the Cardinals. Now it's reversed, and now the Cardinals are down to minus 105. And this is going to be a big half-unit day. I have 0.75 units at plus 105 because I saw a good amount of value there. Now that it's at minus 105, it's creeping much closer to what I originally capped it at. So at minus 105, I would consider still putting a half unit on it because I do think the Cardinals win this game. But the reason being is that I saw the value at plus 105. Like, this is long-term baseball betting, right? Just because the bets don't win today, Gino talked about it yesterday, right? He was on the Tigers, which cashed. He was on the over in Braves or Philly, which cashed. But those bets don't often hit all the time. But when you find the value, you got to play them, right? And we're playing it with the Cardinals today. I do think they win, but it's at plus money, which was where I found the most value. Now at minus 105, I'm pretty sure on BetMGM right now, they should be plus 100. I still think at plus money, it's worth it. I know it's marginal based on the line. I still think they win today. I mean, I got 0.75 units on it, right, to win about 0.79. I think that's the play here today, people. I think the Cardinals end up winning this game. What I've also been noticing, Shane Bieber just gets a lot of respect on the lines. He has been all year, and he deserves it, right? And Shane Bieber's got a 3.08 ERA. But these are the type of games where that xERA kicks in, and I think that the Cardinals end up winning this game in the end. So I'm going Cardinals money line at plus 105 for 0.75 units. Let's talk about the Boston Red Sox versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, because this is the play which I originally liked the least, weirdly enough. But the feedback on it makes me like it even more, because everybody and their mother is saying that we can't fade Chris Sale today. We can't fade him. He looks much better. Let's see him do it. All right, let's talk about it. And the big thing that I was looking at this game is, who are the Red Sox to be this big of a road favorite? I understand why the price might be what it is, but I have the better team at home. And I know that might be sounding weird, right? Diamondbacks are better than the Red Sox. Are you sure? I do think they're an overall better team. I do. When you factor in more than just, you look at the offense, you look at the starting pitching, which I do think the Diamondbacks have better starting pitching. I think the bullpen advantage is marginal. I think you could say the Red Sox have a slightly better offense, but the Diamondbacks have the better defense. They're a faster team, taking advantage of steals on the base pass, and they have the better record and they're at home. But the problem is that Brandon Pfaadt is on the mound. But before we talk about Brandon Pfaadt, let's talk about Chris Sale, because he's a wild card. His expected ERA is 3.76 compared to his actual ERA of 5.01. So those people would be correct in saying that Chris Sale has looked better. And I don't disagree with him. But the thing is, Chris Sale at Fenway is a stud. Chris Sale on the road, he's rocking a 6.00 ERA on the road this year compared to a 3.86 ERA at home. Now, you'll see me use those a lot later in the season, but now it's not really that big of a deal when we're just looking at this season. But it's not all this season. Since joining the Red Sox in 2017, Chris Sale has always been worse on the road. Go through each year, year over year. He's been worse on the road throughout his career, especially last year and the year before. He's 34 years old. He's been historically worse on the road, and now he's going into interesting weather conditions. 95 degrees in Arizona right now. Some people are telling me it's almost over 100 degrees. I want to see how Chris Sale, the 34-year-old, does in 100-degree heat. Now, Brandon Pfaadt's going to toe the rubber for Arizona, who's got a 7.65 ERA. He's a prospect that we're just really high on here at Just Baseball, but he hasn't found his exact footing yet. He got crushed in his debut against the Rangers and then again by the Marlins. But in his last two starts, he's thrown 10 innings and allowed 4 runs to give him a 3.60 ERA against the Pirates and the Giants. So when we look at how both these offenses have done, the Red Sox offense has slowed up in May after a fantastic April. They have a 97 WRC plus in May against right-handed pitching compared to a 111 WRC plus from April. They're going to face this Brandon Pfaadt today, who struggled in his last 2 starts but has looked better and better. And by WRC plus, Arizona has been a league average offense against left-handed pitching, sitting with a 100 WRC plus over the entire season. But that jumps to 107 when we look at their performance at home. In May, they have a 108 WRC plus. Again, they're just getting better, and they're in their better split at home in particular. Remember, the Diamondbacks have been better against righties this season, but I like their offense and how it projects against lefties moving forward. Look at that Evan Longoria bomb off Austin Gomber. Like, they have a lot of guys like Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Gabriel Moreno, Evan Longoria, of course, that just match up better against lefties. And I think overall, when the season's done, we'll say, oh, yeah, the Diamondbacks are better against lefties, because that's what I think their better split will become. And we're starting to see that unfold as the season progresses. And now when we look at the bullpen advantage, the Red Sox, by the numbers, have a better bullpen than the Diamondbacks do. But the Red Sox bullpen is less rested because the Diamondbacks had an off day yesterday. So I think the bullpen advantage is kind of marginal. And the Diamondbacks have just been incredibly profitable as underdogs this entire season. They're 18-10 as underdogs, while the Red Sox are 7-12 as favorites. The Red Sox have been objectively worse on the road, and the Diamondbacks are performing better at home. And we've seen the Red Sox, like when we look at the splits, 68% of the tickets, 62% of the money. The Red Sox open as minus 165 favorites, and it's down to this price. There's a reason here, right? If you go to Ballpark Pal and you look at the model, they have the Diamondbacks as plus 103. Now, that would imply that the Red Sox win more of the model simulations, right? About 50-ish% of them. But that's what I think. I think it's a 50-50 game, and I have the home team. At plus 125, that's what I'm saying here. That's why it's a half unit play. Did I give you the greatest pitch of why it's like, oh yeah, the Diamondbacks full unit, I really, really think they're going to win today? No, I think it's a coin flip. So I think it's a misprice. And I'm willing to go with the Diamondbacks at plus 125 here. Again, trying something new today. We've built a good nest egg. We've been winning a ton lately, which has been awesome. And I'm willing to kind of shoot from the hip here. I want to see how I'm capping the games. Just drop my phone. Maybe they don't want me to have my phone on me. I don't know. That was a stupid joke. Let's get back to it. The Diamondbacks, I think, are the better team. They're plus 125 at home. They have the objectively worst starting pitcher when you look at the numbers. But I think everything else kind of favors the Diamondbacks. I also like a little bit of travel. It's not much. Los Angeles to Arizona. It's not much. But it's still just like piling these little factors on. I'm like, plus 125, that's worth the bet for me. Let me check chat. Let me see if people agree with me here. Thrasher just subbed. What a stud. Thank you, my friend. Boston don't put up runs either. Colby Olson, fuck around and find out fading sale. Oh, I think Colby might be a Red Sox fan. Yeah, he's biased and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Anything else in here? Man, it's only 92 in Phoenix. Cool front. I'm hearing different things. I agree, brother. That's kind of what I'm thinking today. Agree, the roof might be closed as far as a heat factor. What's the BetMGM promo code? JB fans. JB fans. There it is. Wager $10 on any MLB money line and receive $100. There you go. Atta baby. All right, let's get to the juiciest underdog on the slate. New York Mets versus the Colorado Rockies at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup. Oh, I realized on my article. Pitching matchup: Chris Sale versus Brandon Pfaadt. No, I don't have Rockies minus 1.5. I have Rockies money line at plus 185. So the pitching matchup is, what's the pitching matchup again? I already forgot. The pitching matchup is Max Scherzer versus Connor Seabold. Yep. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, so the Rockies money line plus 185. Okay, for a half unit. So we're following a system here, right? It's going to be very hard to convince you why Connor Seabold is better than Max Scherzer. And the reason it's very hard to convince you is it's not true, right? Firing from the hip here. Very profitable system on the Rockies. In an 112-game sample, the Rockies are 69-43. It's a 61% win rate in these scenarios in particular. This scenario is a team like the Mets, who were just on the road, coming in to play the Rockies amid a homestand. We talk about it constantly, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit for teams to adjust to the altitude. Now, there is some baseball sense involved with this. Max Scherzer has a career 6.39 ERA pitching at Coors Field. He does not have many outings either. Only 31 innings since his debut back in 2008. This is also the worst version of Max Scherzer that we've seen in a very long time, posting a 4.07 ERA and a 4.01 expected ERA. And Connor Seabold is actually due to regress positively, right? Based on his expected ERA, which is at 4.72 compared to his 5.97 ERA. His FIP and XFIP are also all lower than his ERA. But here's the bottom line. The Mets are coming off a 10-run performance of the Cubs. Put a lot of people in piss yesterday, which they were on the Cubs, and now have to travel to Coors Field without the off day, right? Here's something on Pikkit. Go check the Pikkit splits. Everyone's on the Mets. Everyone's got Mets money line in their parlay, and the Mets own every advantage on paper from a baseball perspective. But let's look deeper. The Mets are 10-27 as favorites, routinely falling below expectations. While the Rockies are 13-13 at home this season, they're always going to be better at home, and they're 23-20 as underdogs. The model has the Rockies at plus 150, right? So it has them losing 40 or 60% of the time. But plus 185, that ain't losing 60% of the time, right? That's losing almost 70% of the time. Should the Mets win this game on paper? Absolutely. My issue is that the Mets, I don't believe in Scherzer right now, right? His velocity looked up in his past couple of starts because that's when he was scratched, had all that rest. Doesn't have the rest here. System says we have to take Colorado, and the Mets are coming off that 10-run game. Mets are getting 85%, north of 85% of the tickets, and that line ain't really moving, right? They're sticking it at minus 210, minus 220. They ain't really budging it. And I think this is playable down to plus 175. So I got it at plus 185. It's 0.5 units to win 0.93 units. It's a very good value play today. Hey, Archie, happy birthday. Mets bats hot right now. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about the Rockies plus 2.5? Yeah, system also likes the A's when the old Ken. No, that's the model, not the system. So Mets bats are hot right now. I agree, and so were the Blue Jays bats when they won 20-1. Like, yeah, they're hot right now. Let's see them adjust in altitude, right? Let's see them adjust. And the question is, what do you think about the Rockies plus 2.5? I've been getting that question all day long. Like, why don't you take the run line? Here's my thing about this game. This game is either going to make me look like a genius or a dumbass. And the reason I say that is that the Mets could roll in, the bats stay hot, and Scherzer shuts down the Rockies. Mets win this game by 6 or 7 runs. Or what I'm saying about the Mets comes true. They don't adjust to altitude. Scherzer does not perform well and the Rockies win. So that's kind of my thinking about this game, is that the Mets are either going to win this game by 5 runs or the Rockies are going to win this game outright. This is Connor Siebold, right? Look at that. Look at this guy. That was good. Watch this. Ooh, kind of moved. Watch this. That's a good fastball. He's not that good. I'm not here to pitch you that Connor Siebold is better than Max Scherzer. What I am here to pitch you is taking the Rockies in this type of scenario is very, very profitable long term. And you're going to see me do this throughout the entire season. The weather in Colorado isn't great, might be raining in Denver. Well, hopefully it doesn't get rained out because I do like this play. This shouldn't really affect either team, I don't think. Maybe it would affect the Mets more. Fair enough, I like it. Remember, we're not putting a full unit on these. Right? This is not me telling you that I think that these are 1-unit plays. These are not, I'm not as confident as normal games. This is me trying something out. This is me trying something out. The way I read lines, I want to see if I'm reading them correctly moving forward. 0.5 units, 0.75 units. If we lose all 3, we go to bed without a wink because we've been totally great and I ain't too worried about it. But I do think at least 2 of these are going to hit. And that would mean, when you take 3 games and all of them are underdogs and you hit 2 of them, you're more likely going to be in a very, very good spot compared to taking favorites, right? So that's my vibes today. Those are the picks. But I'm excited to do a prize picks entry because today I had a very busy morning, so I wasn't able to really dive into the prize pick slate enough. I want people to feed me, and we're going to create an entry today. So let's get into the model before we welcome on some people. All right, so the Ballpark Pal model, we know it good and well. We go over the game simulations. I don't have to tell you guys. You guys know that it's a W model. Let's get into the first game. So this is something where if you follow the model, you're probably wondering why the hell wasn't Peter on under 8.5? Why wasn't he on under 8? Why wasn't he on under 7.5? The line is moving. This is exactly a bet that Peter would be on. I got a weird feeling about this game, ladies and gentlemen. This game opened at 7.5, vaulted up to 8.5, and then has settled right back into 7.5. That gives me the heebie-jeebs. I like it, right? I think Gosman's going to shove. Obviously, as you can tell, the Twins are projected 2.87 runs. You rarely will ever see a team have a run projection lower than 3. So what this is saying is that the under is undoubtedly the play. I'm not a big fan of Varland. I've come on here and pitched it to you, and we've been donating to the Varland Fund. I think he's flashy. I think his stuff is good. I think he projects well long term. But I'm not a big fan of him. And I have a weird feeling about this game. It's just a weird feeling. It's like, why did it go up from 7.5 to 8.5? Why? Maybe I'm reading too far into it. Maybe I'm like, screw the line movement. It went back down to 7.5. That's a good play. And I could be overthinking it. But I have a weird feeling about it, but just wanted to bring it to your attention that if you don't share that weird feeling, the under is no doubt the play in Blue Jays versus Twins. Let's move on to the second game of the model. So this is what I'm talking about, right? With Mets versus Rockies. As you can tell, Rockies are plus 151. They only have them winning about 39.8% of the simulations, which, it's not all the time that we're on these dogs just because it's showing value. But it is good to say that it is showing value, and the model likes the under again. The model always seems to like unders in Coors Field. But I've seen this line go from 10.5 to 11.5. So again, kind of similar to Blue Jays versus Twins. Not a big fan of when we were going against line movement with the model. I think that's what the price should be for this game, to be quite honest with you. I think Scherzer should be minus 150. I agree with that. I think he should be minus 150. Should not be a minus 200 and above favorite on the road right now with the way he's pitching. I just don't think so. So how often do these bets hit? If they hit 40% of the time and we always take plus 185, you're going to win money long term. That's the name of the game. That's what we do in baseball, winning money long term, right? We could have a bad day today. Doesn't mean we'll have a bad day tomorrow. So let's continue. All right, let's get back into this game. Really interesting spot for both teams. I give the starting pitching edge to the Marlins, but at the same time, I am a big fan of Reed Detmers. I think my only issue with this game is just I think it's priced appropriately. Right? The model agrees. When I saw this line, I was like, ooh, I kind of want the Angels if it's like a pick 'em, but it's not. Angels are minus 140. So I'm like, yeah, that's probably what it should be. So again, I think the Angels win this game. I just don't see any value on it. But another reason I wanted to bring it up, total, if you can get it at 8.5, there is value there, but at 8, not really. I know a lot of people are going to be on this game as well. That's why, I like to bring you guys model plays that a lot of other people are going to be on. So it's worthy of considering the Angels if you just think they're going to win. If you could find another parlay piece, I think that's I just don't want to lay 1.4 units on the Angels. I really, really don't. But I do think the Angels end up winning that game. Let's move on. Everybody's on this game. Everyone, I think, is hammering the Astros, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, everyone's hammering the Astros and the over. As you can tell, our lovely model shows value on the A's again. What a dumpster. I don't know. It's Hunter Brown versus James Caprillion. The Astros should win 75-0. They should win 75-0, Producer Colin.
I mean, everyone has minus 1.5 or minus 2 also, and that's saying that it's not worth it.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys can hear Producer Cohen. We got to get you a mic. So we're gonna get Producer Cohen a mic. Because I want Producer Cohen to be chipping in here. Because dude knows ball. Model knows something we don't. I don't know. We'll see. Right? Hunter Brown, James Caprillion, Astros should win by 600, but the model shows a little bit of value on the A's. What I will say is we give shit to the model about their A's predictions. Did the Mariners cover the run line last night? Did they cover it the night before? Just saying. All right, we got people in queue. Let's welcome on the people. Ollie 1 unit starts us off.
Yo.
Ollie 1 unit starts us off. The greatest pitcher alive is pitching today. How are you?
Great. Yeah, I'm not coming to you with a play in that game today, surprisingly. But do let it be known. I will, mainly because I'm doing half unit plays today.
We're on a similar vibe.
Yeah, I'm doing half unit plays today. So Pirates money line, I did to win a half unit instead of risking a half unit. So 0.37, kind of weird. And I didn't know if under half unit plays were allowed.
Yeah,
that's
you can put 0.05 units if you just want to hang out.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, let it be known I will be on that, but that's not a stream play. So I don't remember what the first stream play is. Can we bring it up?
Producer Cohen, we got the rule. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Bring out the trophies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
You own one of the greatest memes of all time. Get in, loser. We're fading Patrick Corbin.
Yeah. I want to give credit to a good Twitter friend of mine, Ben Porter. If you know him on Twitter, more so on Red Sox Twitter, but he used to post that with Garrett Cole. And I said, hey, can you make this for me with Patrick Corbin last year? And he said, yeah, sure. It's like, a 3-year-old could do it. I said, well, all right. Can you just send it to me? And so I post that when I fade Patrick Corbin.
It is a very easy meme to make.
Yes, it is. And Ben Porter, great guy. If you haven't followed him, definitely suggest it. Every time Shane McClanahan does something good, he posts a clip of him getting a single off Shane McClanahan in college because he played against him in college. Funny guy. Anyways, Royals money line. I think this is the time we finally snipe the Patrick Corbin fade. as someone who's won back-to-back bets on Patrick Corbin, not to brag.
Patrick Corbin sharp.
Yeah, today I think it's time to go on the opposite side. Now it's a little not so comfortable taking Jordan Lyles opposing him because that guy stinks and
You're betting on the right-handed Patrick Corbin.
Yes, however, he's definitely looking more like 2021 Jordan Lyles, who
Which
led up the
was.
most homers in the Major League Baseball. So that part is coming back. However, what are the Nationals don't hit home runs? They're actually, in the last 30 days, second to last in fly ball percentage against right-handed pitching. Fun little stat there.
Do you think we'll get a classic Jordan Lyles, like 9 innings, 4 earned, 5?
I mean, we just
Royals
saw Kyle Gibson throw like a perfect game against the Yankees. It wasn't their best lineup, but like these guys come in and it happens. The Nationals hit a lot of ground balls. Not saying Jordan Lyles' ground ball rate is down, so you could twist it and say, oh, it's a good chance for them to start hitting fly balls against a fly ball pitcher. Well, I'm going to take the opposite way and say, since Jordan Lyles' fly ball rate or ground ball rate is 10% lower than it was last year, I think it's a good chance for him to try to get back on track and force the Nationals to hit some ground balls. And on top of that, I like the Royals' bats, hard hit percentage. Patrick Corbin, sure, he's been okay the last couple of starts, but that xERA is still 2 runs higher than his ERA. Jordan Lyles, his xERA is 2. It's still like a 5.1, not good, but 2 runs lower than his actual ERA. So, and first of all, lastly, the fact the Royals are favored in this game, contrarian brain, baseball brain, all melds into one. Felt just wanted to throw up hitting this button type of play. That's why I'm on it.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just looking at Prize Picks props for these guys because it's just a battle of like the worst. And so Corbin is at 4 Ks, which he hasn't gotten in 3 games. But again, you got a Royals tax. So it's like he's going to have a little. And then let's look at Lyles. And
the Royals have been like, I mean, Corbin has been like, he's had 3 good starts in a row by Patrick Corbin standards.
These props for these pitchers are so low and horrible.
Yeah, they're awful. Well, they should be awful. They shouldn't be good. Like, isn't this total?
When they're facing each other and like we're picking a winner, and it's like this is why I love the sport of baseball because now I'm going to be tuning into Royals stats to like see who wins these bets.
Yeah, there were like 13 players up for a run in the Yankees game yesterday, and that over that I was on was the worst bet of the night. So actually, the Brewers is pretty bad too. But either way. Like it happens. I think the Royals are going to win this game out.
Julio pitched well. You were right.
He did. We're buying Julio Tehran stock, but sometimes the Brewers just shut out by Giants bullpen game. What are you going to do? Sean Manaea, Jacob Junis.
They're weirdly good in those. I've been tracking those. Like that's like the games they win is when they just throw a bunch of no names at you and like you aren't ready, and you're like, oh, the Giants are going to suck today, and then they win those games. Then they lose with like their good pitchers.
Yeah. And Howlett here in chat says 6 of the last 7 Corbin starts have been a quality start. Time to fade. He's reading my mind, baby. And I think I don't like the price on it, but I think it's a winner because like you don't want to bet the Royals as a favorite as like a value standpoint. That's awful, especially at home where they've been just so bad. But I just think they're going to win, so I'm going to take it.
I like it. If you were like, okay, I'm like hammering the Royals today, I'd be a little bit scared. But this, you're dipping your toes in the water, right? We're starting a long weekend.
Yep.
The sun is out, and vibes are good with Lyles.
Well, it's more so targeting the Royals bats because I think that they're going to make a lot of hard contact off Corbin. But Lyles should give us a less than quality start to win the game.
How many times have you heard the Royals hard contact is going to kick it?
It kind of is.
Kind of is.
It kind of is starting to come around a little bit. A little bit. Not a lot, but a little.
Don't the Royals have 14 wins this year?
Not good. And the A's have 10 wins this year. Again, not to brag. I bet on 2 of them against the Royals, ironically. That's pretty good. The A's might be my most profitable team again this year.
I bet on the A's twice. I'm 0-1-1. I got a first 5 push, which was electric, and I bet on the A's money line, and they lost, I think, by 6.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Rockies today. Shout out Connor Siebold, Red Sox.
Shout out Connor Siebold. Let's get into your next play. What else?
All right. What is the next one? White Sox, Tigers over. This is to me, backing a White Sox bats is really, really tough to do right now. However, as a former Joey Wentz guy, I am no longer a Joey Wentz guy.
We're in the same boat I'm also a former Joey Wentz guy.
Yeah. So I think I don't think the Tigers are going to go, or the White Sox are going to go out there and light the world on fire. But Joey Wentz has been really bad in really every aspect. And if the freaking White Sox can't score on Joey Wentz, then I mean, oh my goodness, do they have more issues than I even thought? And they're only 6 games out of first place, by the way. Fun fact.
And you know what I learned about the White Sox is that when they're supposed to put in their good bullpen arms, they don't, because they'd rather just lose by more.
You know who like their best bullpen arm is right now?
Gregory Santos.
I was going to say Joe Kelly, but
whatever. Or Joe Kelly, yeah.
Kelly's
those guys are nasty. Guess who
filthy.
They didn't put in the game, even though both those guys were arrested?
Either of them.
And they put in their lefties against the Tigers, who can only hit lefties.
Yeah, that brings me to the Tigers today, where I just think you look on paper and Lance Lynn's numbers against the Tigers are really good. I think about 65% of that is against a 38-year-old and older Miguel Cabrera. So take that with a grain of salt. He's really, really struggled against left-handed hitting this year. And you know who's really starting to heat up? The hits left-handed. Riley Green. I love Riley Green's prop today, hitter fantasy score. I think it's the only thing that he's up there for. I really love that prop today.
We're starting. We're going to do a community entry on Prize Picks. And I know you got one more pick, but I just want to write that down. Is Riley Green? Let me check Prize Picks.
It's either going to be Riley Green's fantasy or Salvi Perez bases. I love either of them. Lance Lynn against lefties this year, 343 batting average and a 1039 OPS against left-handed hitters. Just really, really bad. His home and away splits are pretty much dead even in the same amount of starts, so that doesn't matter. And Riley Green loves lefties, loves righties here. All 5 of his home runs are against right-handed pitching. OPS is higher, slugging is higher against righties. So he's been doing fine against lefties. Not really any power there. All his power is coming against righties. So I really like Riley Green's fantasy score or Salvi Perez bases going back to that game for either of my potential proposals for a community entry.
Phenomenal. I wrote them both down. What do you got because you have one more pick?
I have one more pick. Yes, this is the first play I put in today. The Rangers-Orioles over. John Gray, Grayson Rodriguez. Look, Grayson Rodriguez has the stuff to be a very good pitcher in this league. There's no doubt about it. He's been a top prospect for a couple of years now, but it just has not looked good. His control is not there. He's letting up a lot of hard hits, and the Rangers mash lefties and mash righties. I think we see a lot of runs early in this game, especially, and the Orioles bullpen would not be surprised. This is just all my brain thinking. Would not be surprised to give their big guns back-to-back days off after Cano and Bautista did not pitch last night. Right? It was Ballman, who's also nasty. I don't know where they're getting these nasty guys to come up, but they are all just filthy.
They're a reliever lab. What they do is
out of nowhere, they're a reliever
these guys.
I saw Bautista last year at one point, and I'm like, they made Jorge Lopez have a 99 sinker last year. It's just like they're finding stuff out there, so props to them. But I would not be surprised to see those two guys, especially Cano and Bautista, not pitch again tonight. And it's not a certainty because they didn't pitch yesterday. But back-to-back days off, would not be surprised after the work they put in early on in the Yankee series. And I'm still just not really scared of anybody out of the Rangers bullpen. Maybe I just don't buy it personally. Like I know
I think they're all fine.
They're all fine. Exactly.
One guy who comes in who I'm like, oh shit.
Cano pitched last night. All right, thanks, Thrasher. That makes me think he's definitely not going to pitch tonight.
Yeah,
and Bautista pitched the first 2 games of the series, I think.
And think about it. Bautista is going to come in certain situations. So it's like he'll come in if the Orioles are up 4-3, but you were probably caked anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If it's a 1-run game in the 8th inning, like that, then it's probably not going to hit anyway, and that's fine. I think the runs come early and often, but just in case they come in the 6th inning, because sometimes that happens. 3rd time through the order, 6th inning comes. I'll take the full game over here. And on the flip side, again, previously John Gray guy. John Gray, it's a Rockies pitcher that has good stuff. Like he leaves Coors and you're like, okay, now's the time for him to be good. He's been all right in his tenure outside of Coors, but I think against the Orioles, he with Mullins not playing yesterday, Mullins should have a good day. Adley should have a good day. Like that top of the lineup should really thrive against them. So all in all, this was definitely my favorite play, but I kind of sprayed the board a little bit more than I usually do today. So still half unit bets all around.
Good stuff, my man. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy your Memorial Day. You're creeping on the leaderboard.
Yeah, people don't want to talk about it, but
people don't want to talk about it.
I contributed to green yesterday on the Just Baseball leaderboard, and we want to go 2-1 here today and keep going back up.
Yeah, people act like Ollie is a good day away from being in the 5th, 6th range, and then you have another good day and you're right there. You've been killing it, my friend.
It's slowly. It's a marathon, baby.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
Peace. We have the man, the myth, and the man who bet on the Chicago Cubs.
Yep. Yeah. I guess this is the best way to put it, Peter. Was it on Monday? I was in first place. I'm in 5th place now? It's not been our week.
But that's why, I continue to repeat this. The leaderboard will change. It's going to go up and down, right? Like you got off to a crazy start, falling back to earth a little bit.
Yep.
But this is again, then when you go back up.
This is
right?
where I want to
be. It's this. I remember last season, I went up 19 units in April. I went down 13 units in May. That's why I was so afraid of this month. I was like, do I know what I'm talking about in May? So it's weird. This season, I'm up more than I was last year, even though my April was way worse. It's just
it's always up and down. I mean, everyone knows that. Everyone is, that does bets on baseball gets it. It's a long season. It's a grind. And I think Ollie said it best. You said too, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I like to be in this spot. The haters are chirping right now. The haters are talking. And I love it. I love being doubted. And let's go. I got 4 plays today. Regardless of how good, how bad I'm doing, I'm coming in with the picks. And I got some today.
You have to believe in yourself because you're still up what? How much are you up on the year?
I'm up 25 units still on the year. Yeah.
You're fine. Let's get into it.
Okay. All right. Let's go first up. This is my 2-unit play, and it could be square, and I could be sitting here at the end just like I was yesterday with the Cubs looking stupid. But I'm going with the Tampa Bay Rays today. I am. And there's a couple reasons. First off, I know the Dodgers had the day off yesterday, but I mean, they've been on the road. They're on their 8 road games in 9 days. They have not been at home, and they continue to travel. They played a tough series against the Braves this past week as well. And here's another thing. Noah Syndergaard's on the bump, and he might be one of the worst pitchers on the road in all of baseball. 10.29 ERA on the road. That's 4 starts, by the way. 1.71 whip away from home. And he's playing a team that is the best team in all of baseball at home. The Rays are 24-5, and they're just a completely different team at Tropicana Field. I don't get it. It blows my mind of how good the Rays are. And I bet them yesterday. I'm going to go back to the well again today. This is another thought process that I have. Not only, I mean, a lot of people are going to see this and be like, oh, well, Syndergaard's on the bump. This guy named Jalen Beeks is pitching for the Rays, whatever. The Rays are the best team when it comes to opener. I mean, they invented the opener, right?
Yeah.
They literally did. If I'm going to back a team in this spot, and I know it's the Dodgers, and I know they're playing better baseball within the last week or so, but at the same time, you're telling me the Rays at home to start the series, they're throwing out an opener, and they're still favorited. It's an interleague favorite as well. That's a solid system that I've had all season long, and I'm going with it. I don't like Syndergaard in this matchup at all, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is with the Rays. I really am, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay at this point, truthfully. If the Dodgers win this game, I am more than okay with losing my 2.34 units on the Rays because I woke up this morning and said, I don't care. I'm going to bet the Tampa Bay Rays today because I really do like them in this matchup at home. It's game 1 of the series. They're obviously trying to make a statement, and that's the thing about the Rays. I've watched a lot of Tampa Bay games because I think I believed on them really early
so
on.
much fun. They are so good.
They play the game the right way, though, Peter. They do. every little thing they do at 110%. Let's go, like, for example, back yesterday's game, I believe it was Brandon Lowe. Brandon Lowe struck out. Ball gets away from Alejandro Kirk. He runs as hard as he can to first base. Kirk is lazy, throws the ball over there, safe. 2 runs end up scoring off of that.
Yeah.
These little things like that, it doesn't matter who they're playing, the situation, the Rays are going to give you 110% every single day, and you can't ever keep them out of it. I mean, even if the Rays, if I'm watching this game in the 7th, 8th inning and they're down by a run or two, I go, it's Tampa Bay. They're at least going to fight. I'm not going to sit here like I was the other day with the Phillies going, well, shit, they're not going to score. I'm not going to feel that way. With Tampa Bay, I always feel good about them. I'm going to back them tonight, and let's make it happen. Let's go. I need it. I need this one, Peter.
It's so much more fun betting on good baseball sometimes because, like, no matter what, you never feel out of it. Like, if you're betting on a bad team and, like, they start struggling, you're like, all right, it's already over because this sucks. Like, they're not going to battle back. I just find it interesting, too. Couple points. First, arguably, I would say the Dodgers might be the best team in the National League right now just because they took 2 of 3 from the Braves. You can say the Braves are better, but arguably, like, whatever. And then they're facing the Rays, and, like, in game 1 of this series, which is maybe the biggest series of the year so far, it's Noah Syndergaard versus Jalen Beeks.
Unbelievable.
Like, it just goes to show, like, that these teams win with everything they got. And it also speaks to the Rays' development, and that's point number 2. Like, people don't believe me when I say the Rays are 2 years ahead of everybody. They started doing openers a couple of years ago. Now everybody does openers. Like, they are – everything they do it way ahead of everybody. So I don't know what to bet on this game. I find it to be kind of a coin flip game.
Mm-hmm.
You got, Rays with an opener. Like, let's see who they bring out in the 3rd and 4th inning. Like, can the Dodgers piece together there? But then you got Syndergaard, who the Rays should smash. This is going to be a sick game. 2.34 units. But you got 3 more plays. Let's get into them.
I do. Next up, Mets Rockies. I got the over 11. I think it's at 11.5 right now. I think. I know it was been trending upward. I'm glad I got it at 11. But it opened at 11 at plus 100. Now, like I said, I think it was I saw it earlier today. It was 11.5 minus 120. And this is the one thing about it. The Max Scherzer has not pitched well against the Rockies in his career. 2-5 with a 4.54 ERA and 12 starts. And he's made 7 of them on the road at Coors Field. And he's given up about 3 to 4 runs every time. If I broke down the math, I did a little bit of math this morning. But I don't like.
Yeah, I have it for you. 6.39 ERA in Coors Field over 31 innings.
There you go, Peter. That's why you're my guy. And I don't like the Mets bullpen either. They got a 4.02 ERA. Also, too, I had bet on the Rockies yesterday, and I watched them score 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th and then give up 4 runs in the top of the. It was unbelievable. I said, "Holy cow! Are the Rockies really about to choke this away?" But here's the kicker: the Rockies pitched all their high leverage bullpen arms. They did. They threw 21. They threw all 3 of these pitchers threw over 21 pitches. Daniel Bard, he pitched 2 innings. Justin Lawrence and Pierce Johnson. Those are their best 3 guys, and they're probably not going to pitch again today. I would be surprised if Bard pitched, and I'd be surprised if Pierce Johnson pitched. Maybe Justin Lawrence, but another part that I've liked about this is this continual trend that people are betting on the Rockies today. If the people are betting on the Rockies and they're pitching a worse pitcher and a guy like Scherzer's on the bump, that makes me feel a little bit better about my over, because if the Rockies find a way to pull this game off and they win, I'm telling you, it's going over 11 runs. No doubt in my mind. And also, too, I don't like who's Seabold, who's pitching today for Colorado. I mean, 5.97 ERA. His WOBA ranks in the bottom 7% of the league. He throws his 4-seamer 53.7% of the time, and opponents are batting over 300 against it. And this is a Mets team who can hit the long ball. You're at Coors Field. Let's see some runs being scored.
I could see it. My only thing about – I agree with Seabold. Like, that's why when I pitched the Rockies money line today, I was like, I'm not here to tell you that Seabold's any good.
Yeah.
But what I will say is you're talking about the bullpen stuff. And I looked into it, too, because I'm like, oh, the Rockies use a lot of their guys. Like, is it worth it to bet on the Rockies? Bard and Lawrence both went 20-plus pitches.
Mm-hmm.
But Lawrence hadn't thrown in a couple of days, and that was Bard's first appearance since Saturday. So both should pitch today. And then you still have Brad Hand, who is actually perfectly fine. And Pierce Johnson, again, 29 pitches, not that much. And then Suter threw 5 yesterday. So it's like they should actually realistically have a good amount of their bullpen today, but I don't think it's really going to matter. I think you're going to see a lot of runs on both sides kind of early.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one where the model likes the under. And I just think that the Mets bats struggle a little bit. I think the Rockies can come out and score like 7 or 8 runs.
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of an 8-4 type game.
Well, here's the thing, too. For example, right, like I was telling about the Rockies game yesterday, I think they scored a combined 4 runs through 6 innings. And the final score is like, what, 7-6, I think it was.
It's also hard to cap these pitchers in Coors. It's like,
right. You don't know.
You're like Ottavino and Robertson have been good. Like, let's see them do it in Coors. Like, it's just like, it's tough to gauge.
Plus, too, when I look at this Mets team, I mean, Pete Alonso, he's leading the league in home runs. I feel like if you throw him a bad pitch, he's going to make you pay for it. And considering I watched that whole game yesterday between the Mets and Chicago, the Mets put together a lot of good at-bats. I know Kyle Hendricks was making his first start in like a year, but he didn't pitch bad. Like the stat sheet really doesn't show how good or bad he pitched because his best pitch has always been the changeup. I mean, that is what he's guiding guys out on. And Pete Alonso especially, he was sitting there taking pitches, borderline strikes down in the zone. And if I got a Mets team that's seeing the ball really well, going against a guy like Seabold, I could think the Mets can score 4 to 5 runs off of him, hoping the Rockies do their job. And by the 7th inning, I'm not even worried about this game anymore.
Awesome. We got people in queue, so let's go through your next 2 picks just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I'll make it quick right here. I know they've been on my no-bet list for so long, but I've had such a crappy week. Why not? We're going with this Houston Astros today, -1.5. Yeah, I'm with it. Let's go. I think the better way of putting it too is I got the over in this game as well. I've come on here multiple times. On the first game of the series, I try to find a way to fade the Oakland A's. I mean, dude, they have 10 wins. That blows my mind that they only have 10 wins this year.
10-43 or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But give me the over. The Astros, they're going to start clicking. I really do think they are. I've been watching them from afar. I haven't been tweeting about it. I haven't been talking about them. But today's the day. The Astros are going to come through, and they're going to get it done for me today. I really do feel good about my card today. I do. I love it. Give me the Astros -1.5. They shouldn't have a problem with Caprillion. I like Hunter Brown as well. He's pitched really good. Definitely, if some of these other guys in the AL weren't doing so good, Rookie of the Year candidate. But the Astros bats get going. They score some runs against Oakland. Give me the over. And give me the Stros.
What am I going to say? I mean, yeah.
That's
the
all
only reason where I'm like, is I never have any rebuttal to fading the A's. Like, does the model like them every day? Yeah. Like, I don't know why. So I got nothing for you. It's the A's.
Yeah, it's the A's. But hey, let's have ourselves a day, Peter. Good luck to you as well. And let's go positive today. Let's get some winners.
Atta baby. All right, we'll talk to you soon, my friend. All right?
All right, brother.
All right. Okay, who else we got in queue? Kolb. Mustache Colby. Another winner from Mustache Colby, which moves him to 8-1 since the stash was grown. Look at that. Don't count him out. I know he's still there at -7.75, but what I will say is you were at down 13 or 14 a week ago. Like
I was down 14.75 to be
It
exact.
is going to go like this, and now we're going like this without – I'm not wasting any more of your time. Get straight into it, my friend. What's play number 1?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's all business today. I have 2 plays today.
You look hilarious with the mustache and the bucket.
Yeah, I mean, and the Just Baseball bucket hat. Like, it's Memorial Day. We're gonna have some fun. I haven't cracked a beer open yet, but I think a beer is going to be cracked after this stream. So hope everybody enjoys a little beverage tonight. But we're gonna start with the Rays Dodgers game. We're gonna go over 5 in the first 5, which is. I grabbed it at -115. It might be at -120 now. I'm not sure. I think it's still playable at -120. You can check.
Yeah, no, just go through. I'll check while you're talking.
Yeah, so it's a matchup. You have Noah Syndergaard pitching for the Dodgers, and he's going against the Rays. He's going to be playing with absolute fire today. Syndergaard owns a 5.88 ERA, a 5.11 expected ERA, and a 4.4 FIP, which is fine. But his last 3 starts, Pete, he's allowed 3 runs to St. Louis, 2 runs to Milwaukee, and 3 runs to St. Louis. Again, that was over about 5 innings in each start. But now he goes into the absolute lion's den, probably the scariest place to play baseball right now, which is Tropicana Field. The Rays have a 132 WRC plus this year against righties, best in baseball. They've been the best lineup in baseball. And by the way, Yandy Diaz is finally back in the lineup today because he's been out of the lineup the last few days, and I'm just glad to see him back in the lineup. The Rays Jays went over in every game. And we were talking about how that's a money printer. And I'm like, oh, I think this is the day that I'm finally not going to bet a Rays over. And I think I have to. I absolutely have to again, because this matchup is just way too perfect. And the reason I love this beyond just the expected stats for Syndergaard is that his stuff is going to be a major problem today, Pete. He's striking out just 17% of batters, and his pitch mix, which is literally just a sinker and a changeup, and he throws a slider sometimes, but it's mostly sinker changeup. And the Rays destroy sinkers and they destroy changeups, which is actually probably one of the hardest pitches to hit in the league. I believe the splitter's the hardest, but changeups, historically most teams do not hit changeups well. The Rays demolish changeups. So he's going to be playing with fire. I would imagine that Syndergaard gives up at least 3, not 4, if not 5 earned runs through 5 innings today against this Rays team. Like, the Rays could easily get this on their own. But then on the other side of the ball, you have Jalen Beeks opening on the Rays with Cooper Criswell following. And you have no idea who Cooper Criswell is, do you?
I do. I have. Because,
okay, well,
yeah, because I've been tapped into the Rays all the time, so I definitely know who that is. Newsflash, not that guy.
Dude, he throws 88-mile-an-hour sinkers that batters have a 429 average against, and the secondaries are lackluster at best.
I just don't know. Like, the Rays keep calling him up and sending him down from AAA, and I'm like, they see something.
No,
I don't know what it is
a healthy arm, and they know that they can out hit the other team. It's like, all right, we'll just see what happens with Cooper.
Fuck it.
But so to start this analysis though for the Dodgers is the Dodgers have been pounding lefties all year. They have a 401 expected WOBA against lefties the last 30 days, which is second highest to the Braves. So they'll get Jalen Beeks for at least an inning, maybe 2 innings, but I imagine they'll score at least a run or 2 off Beeks. And then, Criswell has a 7.94 ERA, a 5.75 expected ERA in three appearances. As I mentioned, you're going to turn on the game tonight and you'd be like, how the hell is this guy pitching for the Rays? Like, he throws 88-mile-an-hour sinkers right over the middle of the plate. They're just so hittable. And the Dodgers own the second best WRC plus against righties this year at 115. So it's a good matchup across the board. You literally have 2 suckbag pitchers pitching against 2 of the best offenses in baseball, and hanging 5 runs is like the book's way of being like, oh, don't bet this, like a really high total. Like, I know, I think that they score 6-7 runs in the first 5 here. That it's just perfect matchup for me. This is a matchup that I absolutely love.
I'm just staring at your mustache. I don't even have any feedback for you. What's play number 2?
Play number 2 is we're going for another first 5. We're going over to the Rangers-Orioles game. First 5 over 4.5. I grabbed it at -110. It's actually shot up, I believe, to -120 now. It's been creeping up kind of all day. I've been waiting for it to go to 5. What's it at right now, Pete?
Let's see. 4.5 at -115.
Cool. Yep. Totally must bet that. I love that. Okay. So here's the analysis. Texas, I love betting them against right-handed pitchers because they have the 3rd highest WRC plus against righties this year with a 114. Now they have Seager back in this lineup, which is just another guy that you don't want to face at all. But they face Grayson Rodriguez, who I've been fading a lot as of late because he's been very shaky, Pete. His last 4 starts, he got the Royals, Angels, Rays, and Blue Jays. And over those 4 starts, a 9.17 ERA, an 8.54 FIP. His only 2 good starts of the year, well, he did pitch all right in that first game, that debut against the Rangers, but still, he scouted a lot of walks, a lot of hits, still gave up 2 earned runs in that game. The only other 2 good starts he's had is against the Tigers, where he shut the Tigers out for 5 innings, back-to-back. Like, the Tigers are not a good offense against righties. I don't even care about that. Grayson Rodriguez's fastball is not MLB ready right now, and that's the biggest problem for him. He's allowing a 368 average and 5 home runs against the fastball, but even the secondaries aren't good. The slider and curveball and changeup, none of them have a whiff rate over 30%. So, he's not really getting batters out by the strikeout, and he's getting hit really hard on that fastball. I believe that the Rangers are going to jump on Grayson today. And again, this is one of those where I'm like, the Rangers might get this total over 4.5 on their own in the first 5. But then on the other side, you have a perfect regression candidate in John Gray. So John Gray right now owns a 3.02 ERA, but a lackluster 5.18 expected ERA and a 4.82 FIP. Also an 84% left on base percentage, which really stuck out to me. Like, he's been stranding runners at a above average rate, which I would expect to come down, especially because he's not striking guys out, Pete. Only an 18% K rate. And again, the fastball is a problem for John Gray. A 321 average and 5 home runs against the fastball this year. And beyond that, Pete, he hasn't faced a good offense in like over a month. He got maybe even longer than that. He got the A's. No, he got the Rockies on the road in the last start. Then the A's, the Mariners, Arizona, Cincy, and then the A's again in his last 6 starts. He has not faced a good offense. The Orioles aren't, a powerhouse against right-handed pitching, but still a 104 WRC plus against righties is respectable. Gunnar Henderson has been heating up in the last 2 weeks, which is a lefty that I think could do some damage against John Gray. So this one, I believe this line should be at 5, just like this Dodgers game. And I absolutely love that it's at 4.5. So that's the play.
Good stuff. I got no feedback for you. You broke it down very well.
Great. And I do have a Prize Picks entry. It goes along with the John Gray analysis. John Gray, less than 4.5 strikeouts. He has an 18% strikeout rate, as I mentioned. And I think this line is a bit inflated because he struck out 7 and he struck out 8 in 2 of the last 3 games. But it was against the A's and either the Rockies or the Mariners. I'm not sure which, but he pitched like 7 or 8 innings in one of those. So it's like,
yeah, he's gone over this in his last 3 starts by like a decent margin, and they're still hanging 4.5.
Yeah, I think he strikes out 3 today. So this is probably my favorite play on the board for Prize Picks. So I wanted to make sure I got that in for you.
Atta baby. So right now we got Riley Green over fantasy, we got Salvi over bases, and we got John Gray less than 4.5. This community entry is starting to cook a little bit. So just those 2 plays, right?
Just those 2, man. You know me lately. I'm picky. If I don't put together a full analysis on something and something seems off to me, I'm not on it. So that's
good
the
stuff
for today.
Good stuff. 8-1 since the mustache has been grown. Keep it up, my friend. Crack that beer. Enjoy yourself. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Enjoy your Memorial Day, brother. Peace.
All right, everybody. So right now we don't have anybody in queue. Nick's going to jump in. Before Nick jumps in, and maybe if he jumps in, we'll pause the voting. For our community entry, I want to pick our favorite from Ollie's, right? Because Colby's got John Gray under 4.5 Ks. I want to know in the chat, and we got plenty of people in here. I want to hear it in chat. Salvi over 1.5 bases or Riley Green over fantasy? The way Riley Green's been swinging it makes me want to take him more. And like, instead of Salvi over 1.5 bases, I think his home run prop is something to consider, right? But maybe, Salvi against Corbin, right? What do you guys think? Riley Green over 7 fantasy, Salvi over 1.5 bases for the community entry. Let me know in chat. I want to hear it. I think I'd lean Green, but I could easily be convinced. And I know people are listening. Maybe they're on their commute, but let us know in chat. Come on, people. Come on. Let me know. Is Salvi going yak tonight? Weather is beautiful. Riley. All right, we got 2 Rileys. Don't leave me hanging. Riley. All right, Riley's starting to get more love here. I think it should be Riley Green as well. We're basically like, should we fade Lance Lynn or should we fade Patrick Corbin? Wind in KC is blowing slightly to center field. Yeah, let's check some weather reports. So in Comerica today, weather is not as bad. We got Lance Lynn on the bump. And then on the flip side, what are we looking at? So Kaufman, the weather conditions are actually not that different. Robert also crushes Wentz. Okay. Riley Green Runs are going to be scored. Salvi. It did seem like Ollie was a little bit more keen on Riley, so I'm gonna put that as his play, and we'll keep Salvi in the back burner. But unless anybody has anything else that they like to say, Drew Waters would be a sneaky pick. All right, we'll talk about it. All right, let's go to Nick. Half of Capwise. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, Peter. How are you?
Mustache and haircut.
Yeah, mustache and mullet.
Wow.
Just
let's
full,
see it for the people. Wow. Letting it breathe.
You just gotta let it rip,
Wow. Any reason behind it?
The reason is why not? No, I don't know. I had the mustache. I was like, it would go well with the mustache.
I like it, my friend. Mustache and a mullet. Let's
Yeah.
give some winners. You're kind of looking like a big leaguer right now. What do you got first?
Okay, so we have I guess 4 total plays. Across 2 games. A pair of ladders. These are just pure system plays. They feel so square, but they're gonna hit. We've got the, I guess the one that I'm more nervous about is the Mets today. -1.5 and -2.5 against the Rockies. And the reasoning for this, again, is just a pure model system play. So we call them Holy Grail plays because they just don't lose. So there's 3 criteria for a Holy Grail play. So they have to be on the road because, road run lines.
Yep.
They have to be -200 or higher on the ML. So kind of measuring market sentiment. And the model has to like them by a certain amount of runs. They're rare. So there's only been 12 of them so far this season across 57 days of baseball. 10-2 on the -1.5s. I don't have exact numbers from last year, but they smacked last year, and I have exact numbers from 2 years ago. They were 29-6 on the -1.5s. So I mean they're juiced, right? It's a -145, -1.5. But if you're hitting it 80% on a -145, you're making some money. I am a little apprehensive. I'm also in Colorado right now. I'm like 10 minutes away from course. The weather here has been absolutely bonkers. It was hailing recently. Crazy thunderstorm. So maybe some weird shit going on with the weather. And also I know I heard you talking earlier on, and I've heard a bunch of people talking about like the Rockies at home, Mets coming into Coors, Seabold maybe going to pitch a little better. I understand. I'm apprehensive about this one, but I have to fire it up. And yeah, I see someone in chat says Pete wants to say something so bad. Pete, what are you going to say?
The system's going in 10-3, unfortunately.
We'll see. Well, it's not going 10-3 because we got another one coming up.
It's a good point. I guess. So yeah, I think. What does your model say? Like, does it have them at -300? What does your model say? That's why I'm just curious because it's like this system. It's like they're the road team. They're -200. It has to be mostly faced on the model because no way it's been that profitable just taking road teams -1.5 if they're juiced.
Yeah, no. Like the road teams lose more. These road teams at -200 lose more than they win when the model doesn't like them by a certain amount. So I have the Mets at 72% to win today, 72.3%.
Okay.
So I mean, kind of fair price, more or less, with where they're at on the ML. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
We'll see. And I know it's a weird sell job. I think this is the first time this season I've come on and pitched one of these. It's just something. It's
something you got to play. It's something you got to play over a long season. You play these systems and they win more often than they don't. Unfortunately, the Rockies are winning by 60 today. It's going to be a 60-4 ball game.
Okay, sure.
The Denver Broncos are beating the New York Jets today, 27-17.
Yeah, I might have a baseball crash through my window if the Rockies win by 60.
And what might happen is just that this game isn't played because there's a lightning strike on the field.
Weather's clearing up. I think they'll be good to play.
Good. Let's get into the other one, which is the Houston Astros fading the Oakland A's.
Yeah. And I heard Thomas earlier. I heard you talking to Thomas. You don't really need any argument. You hear like literally anything that says, hey, fade Oakland.
Yeah, it's always like, oh, no, I actually like Caprillions matchup today. Like, no, I don't. I never do. I never like any of them, but like they're going to win 50 games this year, maybe. but like I don't know when it's going to be.
I will say I'm actually a little bit of a Caprillion apologist, if there was such a thing. He's been like okay the last couple of years. He looked fine against the Astros in his last start on Sunday after he got demoted. Pitched well in the minors, pitched pretty well against the same Houston team last time out. But now that the Astros have seen him recently, plus Hunter Brown pitching really well, I know the A's have seen Hunter Brown too. But I just think that's more advantage in Houston's direction. I think it was a 2-0 win for them against Caprillion last time. I think they put up more than 2 today. Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, no shit. Like any MLB team. Oh yeah, I think they're going to put up more than 2 runs today.
Yeah. I think the familiarity does bode well for the Astros here against Caprillion. It's just like my model thinks it should be closer. I don't know.
I know.
Why.
No, and it's actually funny because my model's the same exact way. It's what like you see Oakland plus 300 and it'll be like, no, Oakland should be plus 220 today.
And it's like,
it's like value. Like, and it's like do I don't want to bet this.
It's just because the books are pricing the team that faces Oakland no matter what as way bigger than it should be, but like they keep winning. So it's
and for that reason, I've been very hesitant to be betting against Oakland just because I don't really like
me
the
too.
Model. But I think today is a good opportunity.
What's the model percentage of them winning?
It's like 74-75%. So
okay, so it is higher than that.
So they should be like minus 280, minus 290, according to my model, and they're priced more like minus 265, which again, like isn't a ton of value.
There's value on the Astros
in and of itself, but like it's like technically, edge Astros.
Yeah. All right, I got nothing to say again. I wish I could add some stuff to this. Like, you're fading the A's.
Fading the A's. Yeah, so we got to win a unit on both of these on the minus 1.5, and then both of the minus 2.5s are plus 100. So going a half unit on those.
So I was talking about the Rockies. I kind of think that, and the way I was talking about it to people when I pitched it was I was like, the Rockies are either going to win this game or the Mets are going to win by 7.
I totally agree, and that's why I'm happy being just like on the run line here.
Yeah,
I think somebody is going to be pitching if they haven't already, like Rockies minus 1.5, like a little reverse run line. I don't hate that at all, actually.
Yeah,
like I think like if the Mets win, they're blowing them out of the water. If the Rockies win, they're going to blow the Mets out of the water.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, people are like, should I take Rockies plus 1.5, plus 2.5? I'm like, just take. It might lose. Like, don't think that plus 185 is some lock. But it's like, it's the way I think about it, it's either going to go one or two ways. Mets win by 6, Rockies or Rockies win. And like, we could look like an idiot or a genius, and we'll just have to see. Yeah.
Also, lineup for the Rockies looking not so great today.
Does it ever look great?
Well, no. I mean, even relatively speaking, the bottom 4 in that lineup is Harold Castro, Nolan Jones, Alan Trejo.
Ezekiel Nolan Torvar. Jones is up? No,
Nolan
I love
Jones
that.
Is up.
I love the Nolan Jones call up. We love that over here at Just Baseball, where he's been crushing balls in the minor leagues. I mean,
but everybody crushes balls in the PCL.
It's a good point. It's a good point. But he is good.
Yeah.
I
don't like no Brenton Doyle.
You and Ben are obsessed with this guy. I don't get it.
No, I mean, I think Doyle like brings something to the Rockies that they don't get from anybody else.
True.
And I'm not a Rockies fan, so I'm not like biased. Although I will say, actually, Brenton Doyle is from my hometown.
Biased.
But I didn't know that until he got called up.
All right, Mike, do you have a Prize Pick square that you were looking at that you want to enter in the community entry?
No, I don't have a Prize Pick square, and I don't want to just pull something out of my ass to give to you.
Fair enough. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Mustache and mullet. We love it.
Yeah, Peter, I'm expecting a mustache and mullet out of you.
I'm growing it a little bit. I'm still going through puberty, I guess, because I still got patches in my beard, so it might just be harder for me. I'm still a growing boy, apparently.
I believe in you.
I've tried to believe it myself. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Who else we got? Who else we got in queue right now? Oh, Jake is up. Finally, someone who can bask in the glory of Rockies money line.
What's
going on, dude?
Rockies, baby. How's my mic? Sound good?
Sound great. Great.
I got a new one, so
he's got a real job, and he texts me, and he's like, "Hey, man, like, I'm unsure if I'll be able to come on stream." I'm like, I have a feling you're going to figure it out. A way to go on stream.
Well, I got let off early today, which was sick. So shout out my boss.
Shout out Jake's boss.
So
shout out Jake's boss.
Yeah, but I'm going balls to the wall today. I did this quite a bit last year as well when the Rockies were like big dogs in this spot. usually like the system we're talking about. I'm happy that people are finally getting hip to this. I've been writing this all year last year, been writing it all year this year, and I'm glad to see that everyone's catching on because it's a great system. And I did this last year. It's usually when the Rockies are like big dogs, like it'd make more sense to lower unit size, right? Nope. I just go balls deep in reverse run line though, and get like plus 300, and that's what I'm doing today. It's a bit crazy, but I did this all year last year.
No, I love it.
I think I got burnt once on it where they won by 1, but think about it, I get burnt once on it and like I hit it like 4 or 5 times. Like I'm gonna make more money going like it's not like you know what I mean. We're going balls and walls. It's like plus 325, and we're gonna lay an entire unit on it. We're not doing a half unit. We're gonna go a full unit like all my other plays. And it's kind of you already appreciate it as it is. I don't believe it's lost yet this year. It's just which kind of scares me because it's kind of due. I don't think it's lost yet. I'm pretty sure I'm 5-0 in the Rockies this year.
Are you sure? But I don't think this particular system, the way it is today, has happened 5 times already this year. I don't think so.
I just know I don't think it's lost yet.
Okay, I think it's like I think it's 2-0.
No, it's at least 3-0.
It might be 3-0.
It's at least 3-0.
Okay.
But there's not much really to talk about here that you already haven't talked about. I'm just kind of here to pump it up. Fucking go Rockies, dude. Connor Seabold. He's not going to pitch great today, but I bet he pitches well. I mean, Scherzer. I mean, I already went about it how, like, last time I came out here, I preached, like, everyone's comparing, just bunching Verlander and Scherzer together. Because Verlander, he's looking okay. But remember,
he's looked better. I think Verlander's actually looked pretty damn good.
But here, dude, his off-speed is so uncompetitive.
Verlander?
I think always pitches out of the zone.
Oh, who cares? We're talking about Scherzer. Scherzer.
Yeah, but Scherzer, I don't think he's looked at much all this year. And coming into quarters, he hasn't much success. I think more than the straight Ducks quarters, he's scared, and now he's finally getting forced to pitch here. He's shaking in his boots. He's not built for this anymore. And we're going to get to see a Charlie Blackmon 3-run home run game. It's going to be electric. I laddered it up to 4.5. So
you're not even on the money line. You're just straight up taking the run line.
No, I laddered Troy Blackmon to 4.5 home runs. But I'm on the run line as well.
Wait, you laddered what?
Charlie Blackmon home run to minus the 4.5. Yeah, laddered that today.
Wait a minute.
I'm trolling, Peter.
I was like,
I'm trolling.
Wait a minute.
5 laddered Charlie Blackmon home runs, but
should we put Charlie Blackmon in this Prize Picks entry?
No, I just pulled a name out of my ass.
Okay. But anybody on the Rockies that you do like today in a certain matchup?
You know me when I look into these games, I'm not. I don't research it because it's a system, and I'm not going to get myself scared off it even more. I just kind of just go balls deep into it and like, okay, this has been working for me. I'm going to bet it no matter what. I'm not going to look into the game. But I do have a Prize Pick square for you today. I have a key Prize Picks of the day. We're 14-4 in the year on these.
All right, we're auto putting.
And we lost yesterday, so you take that how it is.
Say less.
We're heading over to a 9-hole hitter today for the Milwaukee Brewers. We're going Joey Weimer. Yeah, dude, he has a 900 OPS versus lefties this year.
Yeah, he's been much better. He's the only guy like in their lineup who actually hits left.
Contreras.
Yeah, true. Facts. Yeah.
I'm actually on the under in this game, which terrifies me that I like a hitter in it, but I don't last game to get a base hit. So against this Arsenal, let me pull up Weimer real quick. It's actually pretty interesting how much, like, it's actually insane how much better he is against lefties, especially.
And this is your only play, right?
Yeah, this is my only play today. This is where I'm gonna, because I know you're doing a community Prize Picks today.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's in queue. You want me to take too much time, or what's the word on the time constraint?
Wait, what did you say?
Said you like is there people in queue waiting right now?
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to find this specifically each pitch, but Baseball Savant does offer a fastball off-speed breaking to say how they do from righties versus lefties. And Joey Weimer this year on fastballs against lefties, and he's gonna be facing fastball slider today, I believe. It might be fastball, fastball slider. Sinker slider, sorry, but against fastballs, it's just grouped together every fastball pitch. He has a 283 XBA against that, and he has an xWOBA of 372 with a WOBA of 522. And against off-speed against lefties, he has a 268 XBA. He's slugging 600 off of this year, and he has a WOBA of 318. So WOBA's not really there, but like I'm just asking for a base hit, baby. And he doesn't walk too much, which is, that's good. You're taking a guy to get a hit. You don't want him walking. So just base hit for Joey Weimer today. That's all we want. Hopefully it's not a 3-run home run and kick my under, which would suck, which I'm kind of scared of. Like, could you
you think he's gonna be so good that it kills your under?
Dude, I'm like, isn't it kind of scary though? Like,
Oh yeah, I hate doing that.
Dude, but I'm watching
But
for a basic.
I'm not on the under, so I'll take it.
I just really fear a Weimer. Like, this is totally a day where Weimer goes yard.
I love it.
I don't want him to. Just need a base knock. But yeah, I love his matchup today going against lefties. He's been great this year. I mean, I have it pulled up right here against left-handed pitchers this year. Dude, 920 OPS, 300 average, 600 slug. Then against righties, 500 OPS. I mean, this guy's splits is night and day. They need to start moving him up in the lineup against lefties. He should not be hitting 9 when they're facing lefties. So
I totally agree. He should be hitting like arguably like 5th.
Yeah. Also, see, Aaron Boone just got suspended.
Yeah. I don't
funny.
care. I don't care.
But yeah, that's it for me today, Pete.
All right,
Go
my
Rockies, man. Go Rockies.
Go Rockies. Oh man, I would love to see you in
Dude,
this play.
this
This
is
would
gonna
be
be-
legendary.
This is gonna be an electric
One
game.
unit to win 3. That's what I like. Everyone's coming in. Oh, I got 3 units on a -140 play. No, I got 1 unit on to win 3.1 units. Like
You're just
this could
asking. I mean, I
catapult
already
you.
like him to win. And just all I gotta do is win by 2. I mean, this Mets bullpen is like you said earlier, they've been good, but let's see it in Colorado. And dude,
Let's see
this
it in
Rockies
Colorado.
bullpen, dude, they're just good. Like even in Colorado, like
They are
they're
good.
just freaking good. Like they have they're like I looked into it. Like their bullpen's like top 10 in home ERA this year. How is that possible? They're playing cores.
They have a lot of actual good arms. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
always
sick.
do my 5 relievers, that underrated relievers. Like I've done that every year, and a lot. Like I'm looking at adding 2 or 3.
Dude, who's that guy who's throwing 88 miles per hour, but it's just can't get everyone.
Oh,
out.
Brent Suter. I already talked about him earlier in the year. Dude's a frickin' he's just
Dude, he's-
outsmarting guys.
he's
Just
just throwing
Lawrence,
88.
Bird,
Sick.
Pierce Johnson.
It's so fun, man.
You
They're
go
such a
through it.
fun team.
They are a fun team, and I think they win today, and you do too. And you see, Capwise Nick is on the Mets, and he's laddering them. But I kind of think that.
And I'm
don't you
laddering the
agree-
Rockies, dude. Let's
Don't-
freaking
don't
go to
you-
war.
Don't you agree though that the Mets either win by 6 or the Rockies pummel them?
It's going to be a boring game for either side. I mean, obviously it's going to be fun for whoever's bets wins, but I don't expect this game coming down to the wire. It's going to be a typical Colorado game, but I mean, Rockies pitching staff, man. Once Seabold gets out of there, and the thing is too, it's nice about betting on Colorado games in course. Your team's down 3-0. Usually you're like, oh, dude, I'm fucked. But in Colorado, 3 runs is nothing. That's why I give that advantage so heavily to Colorado here, because being down 3 runs isn't much when you have this elite bullpen behind him. Dude, can I say that?
No,
No.
But elite is like the Guardians bullpen or the Mariners bullpen. That's elite. The Yankees bullpen is up there. Rockies bullpen isn't elite, but it is very good. It is very good.
Yeah, dude, hold on. I have this. Where are they at? They are 14th in home ERA as a bullpen. That's so incredibly impressive.
That is incredibly impressive considering they play on the moon. Appreciate it, Jake.
Yeah,
all
we're out
right.
here, Peter.
Rockies, and we're rolling with Joey Weimer over half a base. Good stuff, my
Hopefully
friend.
it's a
All right.
single. Just hopefully it's a single.
I'm kind of hoping it's a home run. So it's
I don't, dude. Hopefully 1-0. All right.
no, I want a single just so you can hit your under as well. Good stuff, my man. We'll talk
Good.
to you soon. All right.
Adios, bro.
All right. Is that the end of people coming on stream? We got mid-major. We have not heard from at all. Should we play the Ben video? All right. So Ben Carey, he put together a little video because he couldn't be here on stream today. So he's got all of his picks right. Producer Conan, he got 6 total picks, 5 plus 1 prize picks. Sun's coming out in Colorado. Let's play the Ben Carey video.
What's up, my little sports bettors? Happy Friday. I got a lot of picks for you today. First pick, we're going to go with the Nationals and the Royals over 9 runs at -120. Lyles and Corbin, I think today Corbin actually does have a bad start. Go with the over. Next play, I'm going with the Angels -140 on the money line. It's the Marlins coming out of Coors. I think Detmers has success with the Marlins bats, and ultimately I think they win. And then I like the Astros -0.5, first 5 on the spread. And then I also like the run line -1.5 for the full game. Then I like the Pirates first 5 +5 spread. I think Mitch Keller continues his success on the bump. I like the Pirates in the first 5. And then it's Friday. I have a prize fix for you, a 4-legger power play. I like Jesus Luzardo over 5.5 Ks, Hunter Brown over 6 Ks, Lance Lynn under 6.5 Ks, and then Trey Turner over 8 fantasy score. No chance he goes 0 2 straight days, right?
I like the audio track. I thought the audio track was kind of funny. Anyone like those plays? The more I think about it, the more I should have been on the Angels. I might have overthought that one. Fading the team out of Coors. Probably should have been on that. Thing is, I don't know. I don't know. Anyone else got a weird feeling about the game? Maybe they just beat the hell out of them. I don't know. I kind of want to fade Jesus Luzardo over K's. Does anyone else want to do that? Does anyone else want to fade? I like the rest of his plays, and maybe we should just take those. Lance Lynn under 5 Ks. Under 6.5 Ks. That's a really high total for him. Trey Turner over 8 fantasy score. Hunter Brown, what is that, over 6 Ks? Trey going over in the series. Lance Lynn maybe could deal. Hey, my little sports bettors. Shout out Ben Carey. What's our favorite prop from this one? I've heard Jesus Luzardo over Ks all day. And I kind of want to fade it with all due respect. What is he at now? Luzardo. Oh, he's up to 6 Ks. That might just be sharp. Might just be sharp. Hunter Brown over 6 Ks. Let's see. Hunter. Because with all due respect to Ben, and if I put in a 4-leg entry, one of those at least isn't hitting. So we just got to figure out which one isn't hitting. Lance Lynn under 6.5. Does that weirdly hit? 36.5 fantasy score? Hunter Brown over Ks you like? I know, but it's against the A's. Like, is he just going to do that? I feel like we're going to be looking at a Hunter Brown over Ks ticket and be like, what are we? Is this squares play? Does that just hit, though? Sale under fantasy. I don't hate Sale under fantasy. Thing is, I mean, like, don't you guys find it interesting, though, that Chris Sale has gone over this fantasy score in 4 straight outings? And they're putting him at 35.5 as a favorite. What's Scherzer? Scherzer's at 31 fantasy. He's gone over this in 3 of 5 games. His time is up. He's been good recently. He has been good recently. Of my underdog plays, who's the pitcher we want to fade the most? Who's the pitcher that we want to fade the most? Chris Sale. Is that also, so we haven't heard from mid-major. Now it's basically just time. We're just cooking up the entry now. Yeah, put up mid-majors plays. Over 1.5 hits, first inning, Rangers, Orioles. Isn't that, I feel like I've seen that prop everywhere. Is that something we should take? Is that something we should take? I'm just trying to look. Caprillion over 2.5 earned seems way too easy, Megan. Like, is that just hitting? Why is it at 2.5? Ugh. Prize Picks board is tough today. Prize Picks board is very challenging. Brandon Pfaadt's at 4Ks and hasn't gotten it yet. Or he's got it once and he got 5. Scherzer. Should we just fade Scherz? Scherzer earn runs. Thing is, I'd rather take his. Scherzer doesn't have an earn run prop. Yeah, you know what? Let's fade Scherzer. Let's fade Scherzer. So Scherzer under fantasy. I agree. I hate him too. Scherzer under fantasy. The next play is Riley Green over 7 fantasy. The next play is John Gray under 4.5 strikeouts. And Joey Weimer over half a base. This feels actually good. All right, that's the 4-man. That's the 4-man. Do we get risky and add another? Do we get risky and add another? Let me see. Because we got games starting soon. And that Detroit game starts soon. So Riley Green, fantasy, over. Scherzer, under. Should we add Sale under fantasy to it? Gray, under 4.5 Ks. What was the other one? Scherzer, Green, Weimer. Do we just stick with the 4-piece, ladies and gentlemen? More, less, more, less. This is a disgusting play. This is a disgusting play. You got to add a bat. We got 2 bats against Corbin. I mean, like, do we have to? Do we have to? I feel like Corbin's pissed that everyone's fading him all the time. Should we take Corbin over K's? Who's allowing hits today? Whose fantasy score do I want to fade? Should we take Detmers over? All right. I think I found the 5th one. I like the Angels play, and now I kind of wish I played it. And the reason being is because the Marlins bats are probably going to come slow out of Coors. Reed Detmers has not hit this fantasy score so of his last 5, his average fantasy score is 26.8, and now he's at 32.5. I think we take the over. Marlins coming off Coors. I just don't like their really lineup against lefties. I know it matches up. I don't love this lineup. Without a rest day off Coors, I want to take the Angels yesterday. I feel like this is a good way to take it, right? You take Detmers to pitch relatively well. Like 32.5 is not even that much anyway. He had 44 against Minnesota his last start. He's getting better. I think that's the 5th lay. I'm putting Lou Bob fantasy score today out there. Yeah, that's a good one too, damn it. Take Angels first 5. I might just take Detmers in this. Are we good with this 5-piece? Are we good with this 5-piece? Why is nobody paying it? Is anybody paying attention? Can we wipe the crust off our eyes? I need to hear some bangs. I need it. I feel like I'm just sitting here by myself. I see plenty of you watching. Come on. Show some love. Come on. We are trying to make this Prize Picks entry, and I want a winner, and I want us all to tail it. It's not anything crazy. We're getting a Memorial Day weekend. Reed Detmers, more than fantasy. Joey Weimer, more than a half base. John Gray, less than 4.5 strikeouts. Riley Green, more than 7 fantasy score. And Max Scherzer, less than 31. You're going to sit there. You're going to be like, yeah, I wasn't really paying much attention. All I'm doing is listening. And then this bangs. What are you going to do then? What the hell are you going to do then? All right? I'm playing it. I'm playing it. I love this entry. I'm playing it. I'm playing it. All right. Placed. Okay. My entries. This is a banger, ladies and gentlemen. Let's cook. Where's Joey Weimer playing from? He's a Milwaukee Brewer. Okay? If you're new to Prize Picks, have yet to download it yet, remember to use code JustBaseball when you download for a full instant deposit match. Remember, you want to use that free money bait, everybody. If you haven't downloaded Prize Picks yet, even if you deposit a couple bucks, they'll just match it. And if you want to tail these, right, we're going to hit some, right? I mean, it's 100 to win 1,000. It's 1,000 to win 10,000. It's 10 to win 100, whatever your unit size is. Like, you only got to hit a couple to make money on these. I like this 5-piece. All right. I'm playing it. And that'll do it. Hopefully you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Exactly. It's Flex Friday too. It's Flex Friday. If we're ever going to make it, let's do it today. Right. And it's all entries placed past 10:30 in the morning. Newsflash at 6:06 p.m. Eastern. Play it. I think do they return your money if it loses, right? It's like a $20 thing. Screw it. Let's ride. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys listening. I'm not sure yet if we'll be streaming on Monday. Probably not. I don't think a lot of people are going to be around. I assume everybody's going to be on doing their thing for Memorial Day. But have a great weekend. Appreciate you guys listening again. It does mean a lot that you guys come in and you participate. That's all I ask, just participation, all right? Appreciate you guys. See you soon. But we have to remember, it's not gambling advice. Peace out, everybody.